Well, James Gunn's been pretty focused on Superman. Production in Cleveland has been going on for a couple of weeks, but now he's given multiple updates on several DC projects and even the DCU continuity. So we're going to dive in for a couple of minutes and talk about what James Gunn has had to say, what's going on with several projects, and where do things like Peacemaker Season 2 fit into the continuity. Overall, it's been a bit of time since James Gunn has really taken time off of working on the new Superman movie to answer a bunch of fan questions over on Threads. And over the last 24 hours, he's given us a lot of new details. So I know all of you guys are super interested, and we've got some minor updates for Superman, Peacemaker Season 2, Paradise Lost, Lanterns, and even Waller, a project many people were concerned was dead. Now, let's kick the whole thing off with Superman, because that's what's front and center right now. Now, James Gunn has confirmed this is a lengthy shoot, and they are not done shooting yet. In his Threads post, he said they still have a couple weeks left, just done shooting in Cleveland, and yeah, it's a long shoot, but we're getting close. He also went on to say, and I quote, "We've done editing pretty intensely the whole time we've been shooting, so post-production should not be insanely long." Now, anytime a project is kind of ahead of the game when it comes to editing and putting things together, that's good for us fans, because what that means is we're probably going to get a trailer for Superman much sooner than expected. I definitely expect to see a trailer by the end of the year, but I would not be surprised if that wave of Thanksgiving releases that typically are dropped don't actually have our first full look at the trailer, which means we're probably looking at early to mid-November. Now, as for Peacemaker Season 2, well, we've seen it is currently in full production down in Atlanta, and James Gunn says that Greg Mottola is in charge of that, but he did confirm he'll be back to direct a few episodes in the coming weeks. If I'm predicting anything, I actually think Gunn's going to do episode 1 and 2, and then probably pick up with the finales. Now, he did clarify a little bit though, saying that the show follows the events of Superman and essentially picks up where Season 1 left off with a couple minor differences. Now, as many of you know, the first season of Peacemaker was set in the DCEU, and then James Gunn was offered the job to lead the DC Universe, effectively leading to the reboot, and now the new series will be set in the new world, raising lots of continuity questions and creating some confusion for some fans. I suspect this will be explained very early in the show, and it could be even just attributed to what happened in The Flash. But no matter what, things have definitely changed, and we're gonna have to wait for Peacemaker to find out. Now, Gunn did go into a little more detail in addressing DCU continuity though, because in one of his posts he actually explained that all the projects that are happening right now, well, the DCU timeline is their release order. Meaning, at least right now, the DCU schedule is not going to do a lot of the prequel or timeline-y kind of stuff that inserts more projects into an already existing timeline. Quite honestly, when you watch what Marvel did, like with Black Widow, it's probably a pretty smart move because it does create some confusion, and then on rewatch, well, quite honestly, I think fans get a little confused. Now, in that same post, he did confirm he's working on other projects, but they are in a distant corner of his brain and focused on what he's shooting. You know, if you know James Gunn, you've heard him talk many times about how he develops things, and often he comes up with ideas. I suspect he jots down those notes and then circles back to it when he has the creative time. I'm pretty sure Superman has completely filled his plate right now, so it doesn't surprise me at all that he's got ideas, but a lot of them aren't being worked on. Now, one of the interesting things he did say and did confirm is that Waller still is in development and actually called the show wonderful. He also revealed that Chris Mundy, Tom King, and David Lindelof have, quote, a lot of great ideas when it comes to who should play Hal Jordan and John Stewart in Lanterns, but nobody has been cast as of yet. Now, additionally, Gunn may have debunked one of the rumors that's been happening in the last couple of days. Now, as many of you know, we've been hearing that Kamal Nanjiani will suit up as Booster Gold, but based on one of his responses, I'm not so sure. During one of these thread exchanges, he actually said, and I quote, "Nothing is in production until it's been greenlit. Right now, that's Superman, Supergirl, Penguin, Peacemaker, Lanterns, and a handful of animated projects. But Paradise Lost, like many other titles, known and unknown, is still in very active development. It will be in production once we have a script or scripts we think are great and ready to shoot. Never before. We aren't officially cast on anything until it's greenlit." So, although Nanjiani might actually be in talks with DC Studios, and this could be some misdirection, it doesn't appear like he's been cast, and James Gunn has absolutely said from the very, very first day, nobody will ever be cast until a script is complete. They need to know the kind of story they're going to tell before they pick up an actor, and we've all seen franchises completely fail by just trying to build a character around a big Hollywood name. It doesn't work the way that it used to, and I think it's pretty important to get these details right before moving forward. This is a mistake we've seen Marvel make and many other studios make when it comes to the superhero genre, and it seems like James Gunn is acutely aware. We do have Creature Commandos and the Penguin coming our way later this year, although it doesn't appear that DC Studios will be at Comic-Con. DC themselves will have some kind of active presence, and I think this is going to be the last year that we don't have an absolutely full plate of DC content, at least for the next decade. We're going to keep a close eye on what James Gunn has to say. It's really great to have an official source to look to get questions answered and to kind of get some straight answers. I know he plays coy on some things, but it's nice to be kept in the loop, and I think as DC fans, well, it's helping elevate the excitement level and set expectations properly. Hopefully James Gunn and his team knock it out of the park.